Okay, so I just finished editing this and I realized I never did an intro. So this is a video about the computers that I use, and what I use them for and when I use them. I hope you enjoy this. Okay, this is my gaming PC. I'm sorry for the lighting, this camera's bad, but it's a bit of a wreck. I don't really take care of it. I mean, I clean it and stuff when I have to. But this is, you can't see it all, but this is an i3 8100. It has a Z370 motherboard that I got from a friend for a good price. And that's why I got the CPU, got it used, good price as well. And it has an R9 290X, and yeah, it's in a lovely Silverstone case. And you can see this is my gaming setup. It's not in my room, that's why there's a change of wallpaper. But it's downstairs. And you can see this desk is a bit of a mess. It has just cables and chargers and stuff everywhere. And you can tell that this setup is, well, it's getting used. I don't really play much. I play Overwatch, not really competitive, just casually. I don't really game at all. That's why I kind of neglect this machine. Like, I maintain it, that's for sure, but I just, most of the time when I boot it up, it's just install updates, because as you guys can see, I am running insider preview versions of Windows. And that's for just personal reasons, really. I have personally good luck with them. They are often very stable for me, so I don't bother with normal Windows. It just annoys me. That's a personal choice. Then we move on. I have this setup next to me. This is a tablet that I use when I don't want to run this big rig. Like, I don't want to boot it, because it's a bit of a hassle, and I have to turn all this back on, or I just want to use Windows on the go. This thing is really bright. Come on. That's better. But most of the time, again, that I boot this, it's to install updates. It's installing this one. It has been for like 4 hours, because this is slow. This is an Atom Z8350. It has 4 gigs of RAM and a 120 gig eMMC SSD. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. That has a 250 gig 850 EVO in it. This is a computer that I take with me sometimes, because the battery life is really good. It lasts like 5 hours on like max brightness, I believe. When it was new anyway, now it's a little bit less, but anyway, it's a really cool thing, because I think I can show you. There. You can unplug this, and it's a tablet on its own. This is just a keyboard base. It's nothing special. It's made of plastic. It's horrible. The back of this is made of like aluminum. It's really nice. Feels really good. Lovely. The one thing that this is really handy for is because of the port selection. You have a microSD, but I don't use 120 gigs of space, so basically just have Windows and like Chrome on it, because that's all I use, and Rufus and some other things. That's the main things that I need Windows for on the go, because my Mac here can run Rufus. So that's the kind of thing that I would use something like this for. And, more importantly, it has a full-size USB Type-A. That is really handy, because I can just plug whatever I want into here, like a mouse or something, because this trackpad is pretty bad. Or like a USB drive that my Mac won't recognize, or whatever. That's what that's used for. My Mac is just here because I had a Skype call with my friends, and that's what I used. Because I tried running it on here because it was already here, but it was just too slow. It was horrible. Didn't work. Part of that is because it was installing updates, and this thing is really, you can only really do one thing on it at a time. Let's see if I can get Task Manager to show up here, because that'll give you a bit of context. But yeah, see, I just click Task Manager. This is how long it takes to open, and there we go. Now it's monitoring. So I'm just sitting here updating Windows. I'm using like 50-70% of my CPU and almost all of my RAM. Can you see that? 3.2 out of 3.8 gigs, so it's almost full. And I'm not doing anything. Like, nothing is running here. I'm not sure what's here. What's open? Come on. Yeah, nothing. Just drivers and Discord. Like, Discord is the only thing that's running here in the background. Because it's always on. Yeah, it's not a very fast computer. I use it for Netflix, Chrome, sometimes a little bit of LibreOffice if I only have this with me, because it's really tiny. So I take that with me when I don't want to take my Mac with me, because it's bulky and I don't want it to get stolen. But yeah, it's just sitting here. Like, this has been updating forever, so just gonna leave it. But yeah, then when we move on, I have a machine sitting here. Now, this is a computer that is very, very rarely used. It is a machine that I put here because I have these two side by side. My personal machine and then this one. This one was sitting in like storage in my room. I found it when I was clearing stuff out. I forgot I even had it, to be honest. Like, it was sitting under piles of junk. But it still works. This is an Athlon X4 640, I believe. Like, it's nothing special. It's 8 gigs of RAM, RX 470, and this Ballon AX 860 PSU. Because I had it spare. That's why that's in there. I bought that on an impulse. It was a stupid buy. It was overkill. I didn't need it. I still don't, but hey, it works. You can see that the side panels are taped, because when I pulled this out of storage it was missing the panels. God knows where those are. I probably threw those out years ago for this case, so who knows. I'm not going to power this up, because it's plugged in, but like, come on. This only gets used when I'm sitting here and someone wants to play games here, like we have guests. This is just a guest Windows account on it that people can log into. So this is just sitting here. I only boot this up now to update Windows on it, so that if quarantine ends and people can come over again, then it can be used and it won't have like piles of updates. But yeah, it's a rack, even more than my personal rig. But it's a reliable rack. Like, this has been a wreck since I put this together. Like, I pulled this almost whole out of storage. It was only missing the graphics card. Did that years ago. Was reliable then, is reliable now. It has an OEM motherboard in it from Median, from a machine from like literally like 2010, as you can tell from the CPU. But it works. I have a spare Phenom 2 X4955, I think. I might try that in here, because it's the same socket. See if it works. I doubt it does, but hey. I have this Mac Mini sitting here underneath my Magic the Gathering Twilight Sparkle card. I have this. This is a machine that, again, is years old. I haven't even powered this up in like forever. I did a while back just to see what was on it, and it was just... there's nothing on here, like a really old version of an OS. I plan to do stuff with this. I want to put a Linux OS on here, because this is a Core 2 Duo Mac Mini. It's 2007. And I could maybe use a little bit of server duty stuff for it, like on it, but I'm not really sure. Plus my janky network switch is awful. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Yeah, this whole setup is just a cable mess. There's an access point for the room here because it's cut off from all Wi-Fi signals from upstairs. Because this is an extension. You can see this is an outside wall, so nothing gets through there in terms of things. I might actually hook that Mac Mini up to this TV as well, just play Netflix or whatever, if I can do that with a modern OS. Not really too sure, but yeah, this is just a setup for downstairs that I use. Sometimes I've been down here all day, because I just wanted a quiet place, and my room isn't quiet. Like, my brother is in the room next door. He's playing loads of loud music and stuff now, because obviously he's stuck at home as well. So that's not really quiet. So I come down here, it's isolated from the rest of the house. Okay, so this is my main computer. This is I'll put the about this Mac on screen. This is a 13-inch mid-2012 unibody MacBook Pro. Now you can see the specs, 2.5 GHz dual Core i5. It boosts to, I believe, 3.1, say Core i5 3210M. It has 16 gigs of RAM that I put in it myself, Intel graphics naturally. And it has a 500 gig SSD, more specifically, that is an 850 EVO from Samsung. Now, this computer is my everything. I do everything on here. From school to just chilling out to like talking to my friends on Skype. That's why it's here next to my computer, because I was gaming and doing things on it. I do it all on this. This computer is my life. I tried to replace it recently with a much newer model that you'll see at the end of the video. That has caused nothing but problems, and I'm really happy to be using this again. This computer has had a history of being legendarily reliable. It's literally fallen from a table, and I don't know if you can see, there's a dent, but that's it. That's the only dent. It fell from a table that's about this high. So you can see like about how high that is. If I put a can on the floor, you can see about how high that table is. It fell from about that height, flat on the screen where the dent is, and picked it back up. The CD drive is a rattle, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to be swapping that out with an SSD if Apple decides to keep supporting it. Otherwise, I'll upgrade to a 2014 or 2015 MacBook Pro. I won't go any higher for now. That's because of the issues that I've had with my 2017. This computer has only had one fault ever. And it was the SATA drive cable, and that was my mistake. I pulled on it kind of hard when I swapped the drive out. And from that point on, if I just go disk speed, this is the same drive, and the write speeds were like 5. Now it's 400-ish. 400, now almost 500. It's 400 and... wait. Yeah, about 465, something like that. And the read is about 500. Now the writes would be like 4 or 2. It would be really slow. The computer would be laggy all over the place. It wouldn't do anything. If you clicked something in, it would just bounce in the dock. It would just chug all the time. Initially I thought I had a logic board issue, but upon looking at it, it appeared to be the drive cable, which makes sense. I pulled hard on it, my fault. That was I believe this was a €12 fix, and it took me maximum of 30 minutes to swap it out. And it takes care of the infrared on the sleep light on the machine. So I had to take all of that out, and yeah. This computer has gotten me through like a year of school, and it's always here. It has a bit of an issue with the MagSafe where it will not charge properly. There we go. The light goes out as a problem, but I don't really consider that as a fault. It happens from time to time, and then I just clean off the MagSafe contacts, and then it's fine again. So I think that's the problem there. I just have to take care of it. I open this up like once every 3 to 4 months to clean the dust out and make sure it's all fine. The only thing that's kind of annoying is the display. It's a 1280 by 800 display, which is not that much. I scale it to 1440 by 900 using an app, sometimes 1680 by 1050. That does make text and stuff quite blurry, but to be totally honest, I have really bad eyesight. If I compare this to my 2017 Retina, which I have had for about a couple weeks, it does look blurrier and it does look worse in general. But if I use this computer for like 10 minutes, I don't notice it anymore. Could be due to my eyesight, could just be due to habits, I don't know. But yeah, this computer is my life. I edit video on this, for the channel 1080p footage, no problem in iMovie. I do all my web browsing, I play around a bit on GarageBand. I have a MIDI keyboard sitting back there somewhere, which I play on sometimes. What else do I do on this? I do like email stuff. I just love this computer. The keyboard is wonderful. Having to live on butterfly switches for a couple of weeks really put this keyboard into perspective. It's so good. And yeah, I don't really mind it's kind of bulky, it's kind of heavy, kind of thick bezels, but I really care. I have my tablet sitting back there still updating for if I really need a super portable machine. I maybe, if Apple unsupports this, I might upgrade to a 2017 MacBook Air. Not really sure. Because the main things that I want is a keyboard that will keep working and a design that I can work on myself. I tried to open up my 2017, open that up to check dust and stuff because it was running incredibly hot. Turns out no dust, it's just poorly designed. It runs really hot. This doesn't. It gets to 90 degrees on the stock Apple fan curve. However, I have a custom fan curve and I don't have Cinebench installed on here, I believe. But I can run it on max load and it won't go past 80. With the fan not even at like 100%, something like 85-90%. Which is simply amazing. It gets quite loud, but it's old. It's 8 years old now, this computer. But yeah, its touchpad's still great. I just love this machine. As I said, might have to upgrade it when Apple supports it, not sure. I might just, because macOS keeps getting security updates for like a year or two. And since I use Apple first-party programs, but they don't stop like supporting the previous OS till the next one after came out. Like now, the Pages and Keynote, Numbers, iMovie, all that sort of stuff support macOS Mojave because Catalina's current. When the next version comes out, they will keep supporting Catalina, but not Mojave because they want people to just upgrade. Which is stupid, IMO. Like, if you don't have a Time Machine backup to restore those apps, you have to reinstall your Mac for some reason, you can't download them again. Which just forces people to upgrade. But yeah, I love this machine. It has the, come on MagSafe, you can do it. It has the, come on, I really need to clean that. That's my fault for not, like, taking proper care of it. Like, this machine travels with me everywhere. I take it with me places. Like, last time I cleaned the MagSafe was, like, maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago. Back when I still had school and things weren't closed. And this went with me in my backpack everywhere I went. So, my dusty backpack full of, like, crap and stuff. So, not really too surprised that something got into it. But yeah, port selection. Oh, this lighting. My god. Hang on, let me see if I can mend this. There we go. Now you can see. It has MagSafe, Ethernet, Firewire. Don't really need that, but Mini DisplayPort. I have a couple of adapters laying around so I can adapt that. 2 USB Type-A's, thank god. SD card reader and a headphone jack. And this really nifty battery monitor. It's fully charged. The 2017 MacBook Pro that I tried to replace this will really put the port situation into perspective. My other camera uses SD cards, and just not being able to plug those into that MacBook was really annoying. I had to literally, because I own a USB card reader for sure, but I don't have a USB Type-C to Type-A dongle. I just don't have that. So I couldn't plug it into it. So what I had to do was had to put the SD card in here, copy it over, and then airdrop it to the other Mac, which is just stupid. I'm really happy to have my ports back. That's why I kind of want to stick with older machines when I do upgrade, for at least a few years now, for at least the next 5 years. Like I said, if I get a 2017 MacBook Air or something, then I can just keep using it. That's still the old design. I can just keep using it. I could also keep this and run Windows on it. That's a possibility. Because I just love most of the things that I love about this computer are just hardware. because I love the keyboard, love the casing, love the design. Like, it's so sturdy. Yeah, if I have to run Windows on it, then I might consider. But me and Windows don't really get along, so... Plus, I need iMovie to edit. I don't have any video editing software on Windows. Otherwise, I would use my gaming PC, but yeah, I don't. So I just added on it, on this. But yeah, possibility of 2017 MacBook Air is actually, like, now that I said it, I thought about it, but now I said it out loud, it's looking really tempting. Or if not, a 2013 MacBook Air, and then I can swap a 2017 Logic board into it. Because it is the same case design. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Don't quote me on it, I'll have to do research. I have to do some research, but I probably could. I'm very familiar working on these. I took this one apart once, fully, like disassembled it, to replace the thermal paste, because when it was 7 years old now, this machine, it got really hot, like around like straight up to 90 degrees, even with a custom fan curve. But the fans ramped up to max, it was still like 94, 95 degrees on the full load, like rendering a video, which isn't great, but I replaced thermal paste, now totally fine. But yeah, I love this computer. I'll probably keep it for a while, considering the financial situation that I'm in right now due to coronavirus and, you know, all the things that are happening. I'll have to stick with it for a while, but that's not really an issue. It's a lovely machine. Yeah, potential upgrade paths. I might have to install Windows on it. I have ran Windows on this before, numerous amounts of times. Like once for school, because my teachers were absolute buttheads and they just shamed me for using a Mac. They were like Microsoft fanboys. They went on to all the big conventions and this kind of crap, really annoying. And they would just sometimes outright refuse to help me because I had a Mac. So I had to put Windows on it. Not really too bad of an experience, to be honest, but I couldn't scale the screen down, which was bad because 800p is just really cramped. But yeah, I might have to. I could also put Linux on it. I have done that before. One's great. So I might, but for now, at least for the next, well, year and a half, because it's not even been, because at the time of recording, it is the 16th of April, time just ticked over, it's really late in the night. The reason I can speak so loud is because I'm in an extension to the house. There's an exterior wall there, so I can speak freely without annoying people. But yeah, as it is, this computer, I will probably stick with it now for a while. The 2017 MacBook Pro I'm speaking of, that I'll show you later, that I traded for. I traded a Windows laptop for it, which I didn't use anymore. So, in my opinion, that was a good trade. Turns out it wasn't, because that model was plagued with issues, and it's just really annoying. It's just really annoying. Like, I thought I could get used to USB Type-C, I can't. Just the inconvenience of, oh, I need to format a USB drive. Can't plug it in. I need to transfer things off my camera. Welp, can't plug it in. Whoops. You know, that kind of thing is just, it's really frustrating. And then keys started double pressing on it and ugh. So yeah, tried replacing it with a more modern machine. Not gonna happen for like at least a year, I think. And even if I upgrade, it's gonna be a similar design to this, like the older design. Before 2016, before all the soldered stuff and non-upgradability, because yeah, that really, like, if you put that in context now, if you think of, well, if you buy like a 13-inch MacBook Pro now, 8 gigs of RAM, quad-core CPU, you know, it's decent. Like a 256 gig SSD, you think, oh, that's good, it's decent, fine machine. On 8 gigs of RAM, which the 2017 MacBook Pro that I have has, it chugs on the stuff that I do. I do multiple tabs on Chrome, Safari. Like, even now I have this Chrome and Safari open. At the same time, I have multiple tabs in each open. I have multiple other things open, sometimes an iMovie project open. Like 40 minutes of footage with and like just that all that open in memory. This thing, which is significantly older, 5 years older than that, handles it great because of the RAM. Then 2017 just chugs all over the place, starts to stutter. It's horrible. Because of RAM, really, RAM limitations. Because stock, this had 4 gigs of RAM. You wouldn't even think of using a 4 gigs of RAM machine now in 2020. That's stupid. Like, you run out of RAM, bang, like that. Like that tablet back there, the Windows tablet has 4 gigs of RAM, you can't run anything. Like, even just running Windows Update, it's just almost full. So just being able to upgrade it to 16 gigs, it's great. When this was new, it was configurable, I believe, with an SSD. Not really sure, but most, if not all of them that you see on the used market have either been upgraded by the previous owners, like this one is, I upgraded it, or come stock. So this one I received, it had 4 gigs of RAM on the hard drive. Awful. And just imagine not being able to upgrade that, make it useless. But now, because you can upgrade it, you can make it usable again. And I dread to think what will happen to all the new Macs that Apple still sells in 8 years. Because you can just, it's stuck with 8 gigs of RAM. It's stuck with, like the MacBook Pro 2017 that I have, 120 gig SSD. It's stupid, not enough for anything. Just do as the applications, and I already only have 30 gigs free. Like, it's dumb. Like, if I just, whoops, not what I wanted to click. When I just have, like, my normal stuff on here, I have 225, like, I'm using 100 and, can you see? I'm using 174 gigs. And I don't have footage on here, like, for my YouTube videos. I delete all of that. I delete all my iMovie projects. If I wanted to keep that, I'd be up way more. I don't have GarageBand installed currently, but I usually do. That's another 15 gigs, I believe, from just a sound library. Like, there are so many things that I do, and I don't even think about it, because this is a 500 gig drive. But when you step back to, like, a base model machine, so the 2017 that I keep mentioning, when there's 120 gig drive, you can't upgrade it. It's all soldered in. So stupid. With Macs newer than this, so Retinas, or later than 2013, or later than 2012, sorry, the RAM is soldered, but you can at least upgrade the SSD. Because I'm not really too fussed about the RAM being soldered. Like, if I wanted to, I could get by with 8 gigs. I just have to close my web browsers temporarily. But I don't want to. And, but yeah, the storage in the 2017 MacBook Pro is a bad situation, because Apple doesn't really optimize their OS to use that little space. Like, if you have 30 gigs free, if you update it to a new version, it's just going to be chuffed full of junk, and it's gonna be a terrible experience when release low. It's just dumb. But yeah, that's my main system. See you in the next clip. Now, this is the last computer that deserves mentioning. This is a 2017 Function Keys MacBook Pro. Doesn't have the touch bar. I'm gonna just quickly put in my password. Doesn't have the touch bar. IMO, I don't care. Touch bar is stupid. And this entire machine is 2. This is a, you can see, 2017, 2.3 GHz dual core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, and it's a base model. It has the 120 gig SSD. So this computer literally has less storage than my phone. And yeah, it's got almost the same amount of RAM too. My phone is 6 gigs, this is 8. It's a horrible computer. It's way out of... It's stupidly underpowered for the price at the time. And it's plagued by problems, some of which I have experienced. If we go here, listen to the difference. The Z key is stuck, and it's really mushy, really annoying. The X key that I just pressed was also stuck. I had to blow some compressed air into the keyboard. That fixed it, but the Z key is still broken. Now, the other problem that I have with it is the battery. I googled this, and it seems like loads of other people with this model and 2016 13-inch MacBook Pros as well, which Apple actually released a replacement program for, but I believe these ones are also affected. They just don't qualify for the program, from my research anyway. is that if we go to battery health, you can see it's reporting 72%. Now, that's really not much. That is less than my 2012 MacBook Pro that has a battery that's almost like more than twice as old. This is a 2.9 years. The one in my MacBook Pro is about, my other MacBook Pro is about 6.8. So, yeah, and now you can see it's reporting 73. Now, I didn't do anything. The battery health just randomly fluctuates. If I hit it with a load, like if I run Cinebench, it'll drop all the way down to 50. And yeah, something is just not right. It started doing this all of a sudden. But it might have done. I've only had this machine for 3 weeks. It might have had the issue before. I used this on my desk. I didn't use it on battery much, so I didn't know. But yeah, see, it's going up now, 74. But if I run Cinebench, it'll go all the way back down. The problem is that if it thinks it's 74%, like if I'm just using it lightly, it'll go to like 45% and then just cut off. And if I run Cinebench, it'll all of a sudden like drop 7 or 8% at a time until it's dead. So it's really something's not right. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this computer yet. It's so plagued by problems. Not just this, it also has FlexGate. That's when the backlight fails. This one hasn't done it yet, obviously, the screen's still good. But it will at some point, if I keep it. Because I like to run my computers for as long as I can, like I'll run them into the ground. Same with the 2012, that I replace things that break and, I keep using them. And the only reason I even got this was because the previous owner offered to trade me for it, for a Windows laptop that I didn't use anymore, that I didn't like using. In my opinion, that was a win. Shouldn't have, because this model is so plagued by problems. Sell it and like mention the problem, of course. Don't want to scam people, but I just mentioned the issue. Hopefully, I can get a couple €100 for it. Then I might be able to invest in a 2014 or 2015 MacBook Pro when the 2012 loses official support from Apple. Because that seems like a much better option than sticking with a model that's plagued by problems. I'd much better have one with the older design, back when Apple still had some sense. Because this computer is just irritating and frustrating to use. Like, you can't upgrade it, you can't really repair anything. Like, if it goes wrong, the battery is glued to the case. Like, I couldn't even replace the battery if I wanted to. Like, technically, the battery in the 2012 is non-user replaceable as well. But that's non-user replaceable. They say don't, but you can do it. But in this, it's glued to the case, so not gonna happen. Yeah, this computer is irritating, mostly because of the two Type-C ports. Really annoying. Can't plug anything into it. But yeah, I'm gonna put this up for sale probably, just because I don't want to deal with it. If any more things fail, I DM'd Apple about the battery problem. They say that they need the battery to be replaced, and I can't afford to do that. And I could technically afford it, but I don't want to invest money in a machine that's gonna fail anyway. Like, that's gonna break sooner or later, regardless of what I do now. So, yeah, I'm probably just gonna sell this. I'm gonna make a video today about doing so as well, like about clean installing an OS, because I wanna make content. And yeah, it's sad because this is a waste of a really nice design. It looks great, it feels good. Material's nice, trackpad is amazing, but the port selection most of all, and just the reliability problems are what keep me from using this or wanting a machine like this. But yeah, I'm gonna make a video later today about clean installing this. I have a Time Machine backup, I believe, from the 12th of April. It's now the what is it, 16th? Could read it. I haven't used this computer in that time. I've been using the 2012 again, because this one just... The only thing I have been using this for is for, like, testing the battery problem. So, yeah. You can tell it's dropping like mad, just as I've been talking. It's up 2%, like 2-3%. Let's see what battery health has to say for itself. Yeah, 74 again. So there's something up here. 93% now. But yeah, it's I'm gonna sell this. And to anyone that's wondering about buying these, because they seem to be really cheap on the used market, like almost the same price as the 2015. And just don't. You're much better off with the 2015. The reason they are so cheap is because they just all have either sticky keys or other problems. And most used market sellers are scammers, sadly, which is really irritating. They just try to get as much money for a machine as they can, and they don't think of the people that's gonna buy it. I'm gonna list all the problems. Gonna list the Z key being stuck. Sometimes I'm gonna list the battery being a problem. And yeah, that's the only two issues this computer has right now. But it's yeah, I'm gonna mention them just because I want to be honest. But yeah, I there's some things about this computer that I like. I love the display; it's really crisp. But the display is no use if you have FlexGate, and it's just gonna break. So yeah, I mean that concludes this video, I believe. See you in the next one.